All right, is this actually live or is this a fake start? Let's give it a minute and see. Find out here shortly. Definitely a fake start. All right, there we go. And we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys and gals. Let me give you guys a bicep shot before we get started. Oh, Mount Bicephalus. Quick reminder for those of you chiming in, please remember to click like if you come in after the fact. Go down to the Facebook page linked in my description. Follow me there, engage my fitness content. I'm going to briefly cover a topic with you guys, and then I will take your questions. We had a lively crowd yesterday. We had a lot come in. So we'll see if we get the same sort of thing with a similar time window today. All right, topic. You know, I've made videos and even did a live recently, got a lot of views to where congratulated Layne Norton for a lift, even after he called me out on it. Congratulated Vegan Gains before recently for a 405 bench. Now, people say, why? Why do that? Why do that for people who you have had beef with in the past? And it's not because I want to collab with them. It's not because I want to be friends. It is because I am trying to practice what I preach. Okay. I'm over here talking about we need to be more together as a lifting community. We need to be more together as a fitness community. And when people do something good, they achieve excellence, irrespective of what our personal feelings are towards them. Even if we have been enemies, you should congratulate them. Okay. Why? I would say even more so if there's been anger, hatred, enemies in the past. Why? Because it puts out positive energy. It creates a positive vibe in the community. It shows brotherhood and support, and it shows the fact that irrespective of whatever petty, minor, goofy differences we have with people, and some of that has not been petty or minor, by the way, but it's to step back and say, I can still, and not just me, but all of us can still objectively look in and say, hey, you did really good. Congratulations. Because isn't that what fitness and lifting is supposed to be about? Self-betterment, betterment of the individual, betterment of those around us, lifting people up, not putting them down. Okay. And a part of me doing that, what are we doing? I'm trying to make up for some of my past, some of the bad blood and negativity I've created and injected into the community. And I think that is important with what we do in life. Okay. If something we have done is maybe not the best thing, or we say, you know, I could have done better than that, or I shouldn't have done that, whether, you know, how wrong we see it or not, how do we make up for that? Do we just say, oh, I'm sorry, and move on? Or do we say, maybe I should change my behavior completely? Maybe I should try to do the exact opposite. You know, instead of just, people give apologies for things all the time, but it's one thing to apologize. It's another thing to say, hey, I need to actually do better with my behavior. And I think that falls into any venue in life. And so in that case, if I'm going to stand here and talk about we need to be more positive and supportive of each other, but then people who've been my enemies, I can't stand there and clap for them when they do something amazing, then if I can't do that, then I am being a hypocrite. Okay? It's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk. If you guys could click like, there's a whole bunch of you watching now. None of you are clicking like, and only Bob has commented. Thank you, Bob. He said that's a very mature view. Thank you for setting that example, Coach. And that's what I'm trying to do, man. I'm trying to set a good example. I've been in this game a long time. I've been on YouTube since 2012. It's 12 years, man. We're coming up on 13 years. You know? Rondo, But that's the thing. Anger begets anger. Yes, he did say that. Yes, I have a copy of it. Yes, it was said in front of a camera. But should I then return with more anger, or should I try to do better? I remember Dean said, I remember saying you preserve muscle better during cutting when you increase less cardio instead of cutting back calories and lose fat. I don't necessarily think it works that way, one way or the other, honestly. No, Bob, I'm not going to extend an olive branch to those people because they're not interested in any form of reconciliation or apology. Because in that case, those are people who would still actively harm my loved ones. And I believe that. Okay. It'd be one thing if I had reason to believe that they wanted to make up for it, but I've seen no examples. Now, George says you were attacking these guys nonstop. George, and that's exactly the point. Okay. All right, George, and that's exactly the point I made in the first part of the video. If we want to do better for our past behavior, then what do we need to do? Okay, so you're like, well, you used to attack them. Okay, we could argue it was deserved, but here's the thing. So because I made videos attacking people and they became enemies, should I just continue to be a dick to them? If I want to be a better human being, shouldn't I try to do better? At least make an effort. Okay, and that's what it comes down to. It's about making an effort. About making an effort. Hey, Bob, so I'm not trolling you, but Shadow Man. But Bob, here's the problem. I don't watch that stuff. How would I possibly know the guy apologized? See, you guys have this misconception. For some people think I actually watch that stuff. So if I don't watch it, how would I know? Okay. Let's get rid of. All right. Okay. Then we do that, and I get to keep his money. All right. So let's come over and look at some of this. Other questions. Jason, when I was in high school, I did not have a lot of friends, just football friends, first period class, and all sped classes. But I wanted a girlfriend. I think my disability is a cause of it. Well, maybe what's your disability, bro? Zachary says, what if they continue to take pop shots at me? All right, but that's the thing, Zach. Let's say they continue to take pop shots at me. Does that make the lifts any less impressive? So let's say Layne, for example, continues to get up and take pop shots or whatever. Does that remove the fact that he proved me wrong? I said he was going to be crippled. The guy deadlifted 725. Do you see where I'm going with this? Even if the guy hates my guts, does that make the lift less impressive? We have to give credit where credit is due. That's how lifting works. UV Power says, why you look so ripped, especially your face. This is the leanest I've ever seen you. We're going to keep going, brother. We are going to keep making progress. The biceps got to come up. We got to get leaner, got to get that waistline tighter. Keep moving forward. All right. But Bob, back to that point, you guys have to understand, I don't actually watch that stuff. Like, it is terrible for my mental health. So everyone, like when they come in and make those talk about those things, they don't seem to grasp. I don't watch them. Hell, I would be depressed if I watched that stuff. So I don't. So I wouldn't know if they apologized. And that's the crazy thing. It's like those people make stuff to trash talk me, and they actually think that I'm going to get involved and care, which is delusional. I wouldn't have enough time to get anything done if I watched all of it. And anyone who does keep up with it, I'm going to question. I mean, realistically, anyone keeps up with hundreds of videos mocking a YouTuber that they don't even watch, and they follow all the crazy drama. That says something about them as a person. Maybe they need mental health. All right. George says, Jason, you are taking your training seriously and it's showing the results. I appreciate it, brother. Zach says, hey, Jason, how's the training going? Man, you see the vlogs come up every single day. 5 days a week, my vlogs come up. The thumbnail for this is a screenshot from today, which I also put up. Coming along, man. Benny says, Coach, you see that Ilya Galan passed away yesterday. I've seen it on social media, but I have no idea who he is. The treatment seek to laughed at your physique. He's by far the narcissist fitness influencer going. I remember when you ripped his tiny gift. I mean, that was true, right? The guy made a video saying I had genetics so bad that God hates me. Right? And my response was, bro, you don't even have calves. What are you talking about? I mean, and it's true. Bodybuilders, calves are considered kind of a big part of the genetics for bodybuilding. The guy didn't have any calves, and he's going to really get up and rip my genetics. It's like, okay, dude. I mean, whatever, man. But maybe don't be so judgmental. It's kind of, it's one of those cases where, like, if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones, man. I mean, I get it. You know, I have loose skin. I don't have great bicep insertions. We all know that. But, you know, if you're going to criticize someone for something, you might want to be able to bring something to the table, you know. He has bad calf genetics. He would lose a bodybuilding show because of it. If he's going to talk physique and bodybuilding. Like, you can't win anything with those calves, bro. I don't get it. All right. Coach, do you ever train forearm grip with specialist tools like wrist rollers? I think wrist rollers are pointless. I don't see the point. Zach, I don't know why you want me to read your name. You might want to explain it. I'm not going to do it because it sounds like a trick. Benny Watts says he was one of Rich Piana's proteges, a 5%er. All right, let's get rid of them down too. Again, sorry guys, you guys are seeing mental illness on display right there in the middle of the dang feed. Right in the middle of the feed. The guy is literally willing to just keep spending money just to type crazy stuff showing that he's crazy. You know what you're going to do? Hold on. There we go. Got to hit the right button. That's cool. Appreciate the money. I'll take the free money. All right. Halo says he's got a learning disability, speech impediment, and schizo-affected, and I was inept at school, classified as emotional disturbance, learning disabled. Okay, Halo. But you can get help for those things, right? You can get help with those things. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm sorry you've gone through that. I'm sorry that you have these issues and they made it hard for you socially. That sucks. I feel bad for you. But you know what? There's hope. There's hope. You know, you can work with therapists to help you with those things, to help you with the social skills and all those things. It can be done. Also, why is there only 5 likes in here? Y'all need to fix that. Yeah, Bob, these people, I mean, they need help, but what more can you do? They know they're mentally ill, you know. And that's the thing. You can't let that get to you, dude. It's crazy, people. What is bicephalus? It's an inside joke of Mount Bicephalus. When I used to do the bicep shot back in the day, I was making fun of my bad bicep genetics, by the way. So it was always Mount Bicephalus. Oh, right? It was all in good fun. It's just something I made up. It was essentially a reference to like classic Greek stuff, Mount Bicephalus. It was just in good fun. I made it up like 12 years ago. All right. Our leg extension, Future Legend says, are leg extensions and hamstring curls good finishers on leg day? They can be. Bob says, would you ever react to videos on live stream? I think it would be, no, there's potential for copyright stuff and all sorts of nonsense. B. Linus says, Coach, it's redundant to do good mornings right after high bar squats asking for a friend. No, why would it be redundant? Lots of elite lifters do that. Rondo, well, some of them did. See, Bob, here's the thing with fair use, though. You can claim something's fair use all you want, but it may not get you out of the strike. Okay. So if people do file the things, and keep in mind, YouTube's copyright system is super efficient for tiered YouTubers. And I don't think people, like I get people who message me, they get mad because I took their videos down. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, dude, you stole my stuff. YouTube sent me a message saying you and 30 other people took my stuff, and it took me 10 seconds to file a strike against all 30 of your channels. I have a check mark. I have those tools available to me. Don't take my stuff. I mean, it's very straightforward. Okay. And I don't think that people are aware of that. Like, you don't have to go look. If you have a check mark by your name, you don't have to go look for your videos. YouTube tells you when they think someone stole enough of your stuff to get a strike. And you don't have to do them individually. You can literally do 30 videos with one click. That's how I've shut down like 200 channels, 200 or 300 channels. It didn't take me hours of work. So people are unaware of this when they steal your stuff. So it's the same thing. Do I really want to risk that with other big channels and then have to go through the process for what? Well, it's not worth it to me. You know what? And I'm still stealing their content if I do that. Right? Benny Watts, Coach, have you ever thought about counseling people on how to deal with online abuse? You definitely have preserved. I've had people suggest that I write a book on it eventually. Right? I've had people literally say, all right, I've had people literally say, I should write a book on just how to deal with it and overcome it. Because I've dealt with some of the most extreme cases. And I've had law enforcement tell me that, like, your case is pretty extreme. What kind of bands did you play back in the day? Like high school? Everything from Metallica. Dude, I played a lot of Metallicas in high school. Just call it what it is. I mean, other stuff, but that was pretty high up there. Bob, I didn't take any of those channels down, actually. So let me be clear on that. I've hit people for a lot of copyright strikes, and at one time I had my partner manager take down about 9 channels in one day because she said, yeah, these are clearly violations. She took, I think, Shadow Man down at one time. She just pressed a button and said, yeah, he's gone. No strikes because they looked at it, but I'm not in the partner manager program at the moment. I still have contact. I mean, if I really wanted to push it, I could probably send an email to my contacts at Google because I've been in the partner program, like the channel, they call it, what is it called? It's like the channel manager program, which they gave me that for 6 months, and they give you classes and stuff. But I haven't done that in years. I haven't used that to take anybody's channel down in probably 5 years. So anyone has only been copyright strikes. So I have no idea why those troll channels were taken down or what path it was done or the reasons or know which ones they even are. Because I haven't done any copyrights I don't think for at least a couple months. There's some starting to get in there, but I don't bother when there's only like I'm not going to waste my time for 3 copyright strikes. It's not worth my 5 minutes. So who do you agree won yesterday? B. Linus, I really don't like to discuss politics and I don't want to discuss the specific issues. But out of all of it, and I'm not going to say either of them are particularly savory characters. Let's be realistic. Okay, let's just call it what it is. We do not have good options, but one particular individual, she happened to have said something that upset me quite a bit, and I would never in a million years give her my support or vote based upon that one set of statements that she made. It was just on one specific topic, and it had to do with something international. She made a statement without me saying what it is or why, that saying that she is, for all purposes, she openly supports genocide. Let's just call it what it is. There is no way the stance that she put forward does not result in the genocide of an entire group of people without going any further. And I've got a problem with that. And I will leave it at that. Uncle, we are getting strong. People got to ask training questions in. I did a bunch of them already. All right. Is there ever going to be a situation where you'll do a 3-week water fast? I'm not even sure if that's a serious question. Give me a reason why a person would do a 3-day water fast. Give me one good reason, besides being a blithering idiot, why a person would do a 3-day water fast, let alone a 3-week. So let me be clear. I cannot envision any situation where I would intentionally do a 3-day water fast. 3 weeks? What? Hey, Rondo, you even using that term means you probably need to go. Okay? Do you know why? Because that is a specific term coined by the most sadistic cyberstalker group in the entire world that's been shut down multiple times by the FBI. And you're using one of their catchphrases. That means you are a really, really bad person. You do know that, right? I know for a fact right now, based upon you even using that word that you used, that you were probably a cyber stalker who stalks people's families. You're aware of that, right? You know the history of that term and who uses it? I'm going to let you answer. Benny says, hey, JJ, how do I manage benching every single day? I love benching. I don't think you should. Rondo, it starts with an L. You do know you just outed yourself by using that word, right? You just outed yourself as a hardcore cyber stalker who stalks people and their families. You just identified yourself as what's called a farmhand. Because that's the only demographic of people who use that word. I've researched this a lot, by the way. All right. So you got to go, because I know that you are a legitimately disturbed human being. And Rondo, I'm going to ask you to go seek psychological help for your own good before you hurt somebody. Okay. Da, 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 da. All right. Richard, I am talking about that term. All right. So let's get down to some training questions. Anna says, I had a low back pain from heavy squats for the last couple of weeks. Badly, then I started doing good morning yesterday with just the bar. Now pain is gone. Why? Because you worked and strengthened that area. No, Sambu, I'm not going to do a pose down for you. Yeah, Richard, that term is a very well documented term with a specific history online. So yeah. He identified himself as a Kiwi Farms member. Hence the term lol cow and farmhands who milk the lol cows from Kiwi Farms, the most notorious, racist, hateful cyberstalking group in the entire world. Even CNN has talked about it. All right. Uncle says gang stalking is real. Yes, it is. All right. Anna says, can good mornings build the squat, especially if low back pain is a major weakness? Yes, absolutely. Louis Simmons documented this many times at Westside Barbell that this is the case. Right? But no, Zachary, I'm not going to do a pose down for you. I'm not going to do a book. Honestly, this is funny that you say I'm most muscular. All right? Yeah, Bob, we don't need to keep talking about that further, though. The funny thing with mentioning the most muscular, I think it's the most stupid looking bodybuilding pose. Like if I were to have any pose removed from bodybuilding, it would be the most muscular. Or the crab pose. It just looks weird. It looks weird and unaesthetic. Right? Doesn't it? Dean, why is white rice considered? That's a lot of debate. It doesn't really seem to be as pro-inflammatory as people would like to pretend that it is. Have you ever had to make your own weights out of concrete? No, why would I? Benny, I mean, I know you're trying to troll, but have you seen what I look like lately? I mean, have you seen me this week on camera? You might as well say you've got really long hair, which I obviously don't. I am way, way leaner than the average person. The Maximum Outreach says, what's your favorite pose, coach? Oh man, I'm gonna say maybe a lat spread, those or a side chest. Probably the side chest, I think, can be the most impressive looking pose overall, if I had to pick something. Anna said, could a person potentially go from a 200 pounds max squat to a much heavier just by building a strong good morning? Because I feel like it's been a major weak point. And I've gotten it. Potentially, yeah, it could make your max go up as long as your quads are strong enough to handle the weight. Host says, I joined Team Konevsky, been getting solid gains. I doubt you've gotten solid gains, right? Uncle says, I did a price, a new road weight setup. Prices are through the roof. If you can even get the stuff, your setup is a gold in the bank. Yep. Richard says, why the hate for the trap bar puts less shear force on the lumbar spine, prevents lumbar hyperextension? Because it doesn't bring anything special to the table. It's actually a higher risk of injury at the lockout due to lack of stability at the top. It requires more compressive stress on the spine because you have to use a heavier weight. Documented in studies, by the way, you have to use a heavier weight to get the same stimulus and the same rate of perceived exertion. So it forces you to use a heavier weight with an unstable lockout. I think it's a higher risk of injury versus just learning how to deadlift correctly. Would you ever consider doing a park calisthenics video? It might increase your outreach and be helpful for your followers who don't have a gym. Because, Bob, my lifters don't always need gyms while traveling. I prescribe stuff for them to do, and it's not park calisthenics. And you can find stuff to do. And if nothing else, my people always take bands with them and do band work when they travel if they don't have a gym. But where are you going that doesn't have a gym? I don't think that's that useful at all. So why would I make that video other than to make calisthenics people think that I'm one of them when I'm really not? So then I'm basically faking and lying. Let's not do that. Let's keep it real. If you don't have access to a gym, temporarily take some bands with you in your suitcase. Right? You can do a ton of stuff with bands just to maintain stuff. Zachary says, have you ever had a lady or to cover a bar? Do you want to get out of here? Yes, obviously. Sambu, I'm not interested in that line of conversation. Sorry, man. I have no intentions of traveling to Africa. And guess what? We have women here in America. And you may not be aware of that, but America has lots of women in it. Like 150 million of them. Dean says, for a conventional deadlift, what would you say? This guy again. Oh my God. Oh, wow. I guess he just wants to. Wants to just keep giving me money. Trap bar, you can lift more weight over the same range of motions, but it's not a better compound lift. No. You have to use more weight. Oh. All right. So let's get some other real questions. Hey, Sambu, do you have any actual training or nutrition questions, or are you just trying to sell me on the merits of going all the way to Africa to find a woman to bring home? Because I'm not really interested in that, to be perfectly honest with you. All right, so let's come back over to Dean. For a conventional deadlift, what you consider to be a good weight for 8 to 12 reps? 405. Right? 405 would be solid. All right. Host, due to different shift in mechanical loading. So because of the difference at the bottom of the movement, you're at a less mechanical disadvantaged position at the bottom. Therefore, it's easier. So ultimately, what ends up happening, you have a movement that requires you from the lengthened positions, right? They have a lot of potential for muscle growth because it's easier in those positions. You have to use a lighter weight, but it is a potentially unstable load at the top that does have a higher risk of injury at the lockout versus a conventional, and you're forced to use approximately 8% more weight according to research. So you tell me how this is a safer exercise or a better exercise. I'm going to go with a conventional deadlift all day long, baby. All right. All right. Umbuku, Antonio is always welcome back. I'm not going to go into his history, but he got into an accident outside of the gym that completely derailed his training. Like nothing training or lifting related in any way. But he did have a major accident. It was not his fault. The pretty serious medical situation. So he may not ever be coming back, but Antonio is always welcome back. But I'm not going to go into what happened because he didn't, he's not discussing it to my knowledge. And I actually hope he does get better, and I would be more than happy to have him back. I like Antonio. Like I like him as a person. What's your training for women? I guess you don't have the chicks signing up for dad bod to daddy. It just depends on what they want. Some women want a little more lower body focus. Some of them, we just train them like the men, why wouldn't we? You can follow the same sort of training. Jamie says, have you ever finished a back squat day with front squats for higher reps for hypertrophy in the quads? Yes. Host says conventional is kind of gay though. Oh Lord, you're just trying to bait me now. Would 405 translate to a 500 rep? I'm currently, if you can do 8 with 405, you can probably do 500 for one. Sambu, if you followed my channel, you would already know that I have had black clients in blogs and as well as my testimonials. So you don't even follow my channel. Okay. Maximum outreach. Would you ever do coaching seminars that would be really popular? Do you have loads? Yeah, possibly. Host is over here just trying to bait now. He's trying, man. No, Host, I bet you like those progress photos. I'm just saying, maybe you're projecting a little bit. Conventional deadlift's gay. I bet you like those progress photos. I bet that you do. I bet you like them as much as I do. And you put some. Is that how you're doing it, Hosted? Come on, man. Just come on out the closet. You'll feel a lot better. All right. Richard Fromage says conventional deadlift has a greater risk of injury. No, I don't feel that it does. Because the conventional will build your low back. Thoughts of if sumo deadlift should be in powerlifting? If I had my way, they'd be banned. All right. Beast Asian Men, are you anti-goon? I don't know what that means. All right. Mbuku says, are you personally satisfied with your body progress, or are you continuing to cut for business? It is 100% for business reasons. Umbu, I could gain 5 pounds of fat over where I am right now and be content the rest of my life. I am getting leaner completely for the money. That's it. Because then I can market cuts for the sluts, bro. And dudes will suck that up. Oh man, he's right. I just get abs. I'll get women. It's marketing, dude. That's it. Dean says, would it be wise to keep deadlifting twice a week for one set or cut it back to once a week? Once you get pretty strong, I'd cut it back to once a week. Bob says, you think most of these children are in the closet? Oh, I know they are. Look at the things they say. I mean, seriously, Bob, look how much they post about my butt and my hips. I'm just saying. All right. It's overwhelmingly obvious. Do you still stand behind? No, I think strict pressing is probably better. Anna says, could I get low back pain on lifts if you have a weak pain, even if your form is good? Yeah, keep in mind, Anna, back pain is an extremely nuanced topic, right? Matt says, has your stance changed on upper range of body fat for lifters since your emphasis on physique? What would you put the upper limit at now? 20%. I wouldn't go over 20. Sam, but I'm not going to play guitar today. I've done it a lot on these. Favorite client, I'm not going to say who my favorite clients are right now. I'm not going to be biased like that. We're just going to chill with it. Richard says, cuts for the sluts is a Chris Jones slogan. You said you weren't going to use Chris. I apologize. I just stole one of Chris Jones's lines. Chris, don't sue me. He's going to be like, Jason, I thought we were cool, man. Over here stealing my lines, marketing it. I'm going to need some money. And I don't really want to go into my thoughts on the debate. Let's just leave it where it is. I gave a small little brief discussion of it. Sam says, can you speak other languages? Förstår du norsk? Nej, jag förstår inte norsk. Hostess said, why don't you train weighted pull-ups anymore? Because it's not Thursday. I only do those on Thursday. All right. Jamie says, Coach, would you ever just quit free weights altogether for kettlebell only for the rest of your training career? Yeah, when monkeys fly out of my butt. Chris lives in Dallas. Anna says, you think muscles gets at you women? No, but a lot of guys do, so we market it. It's just marketing. All right. Why do you personally think sumo should be banned, even though not everyone can lift with it? Because it's a completely different lift. Ottman says, taking the higher road with the title, very honorable, Jason. Thank you. And I explained why I did it at the first part. You know, that is what I'm trying to do there. I'm simply trying to take the high road, trying to be a bigger man, which we should all try to do. Maximum says, I saw you reduce range of motion on pull-ups. What was the cause? And no, it's not fixable. Part of it is because my elbows don't fully lock, so it makes it look different. The other thing is, quite frankly, because my lats pinch together and I'm trying to only work lats, so I'm not trying to swing up under it. Bob, I have an open invitation to come train with Chris anytime. Sambu, I have no idea what the average American coach makes, because I'm not the average American coach. Would you continue to be cordial with vegan pains even if you want to return? Yeah, probably. I just don't want to beef with him. What's the most common reason for elbow pain during a barbell curl? Doing wrist curls instead of keeping your wrist trailing back. That's high on the list. Anna says, I healed my elbow tendonitis, but it comes back when I jerk or do repetition methods. Any tips to permanently heal this? High rep band press downs will help. No, Danzo, I'm not interested in playing that. Bob, maybe in the future. I can't do it right now for some reasons, but in the future, maybe at some point next year, I would actually literally consider burying the hatchet with him if he was sincere, and then there's no need for us to be enemies. We could be cordial and everybody be cool. Like, I want to be clear, I don't actually have any ill will towards vegan games. Okay. Irrespective of what he said or done in the past, I just don't have a reason to beef with the guy. Right? Do you ever perform any sort of aerobic exercises for conditioning? Yes, I literally pushed my sled today. How many push-ups can you do in a row? I bet I could do at least 5. All right. Let's see. No, host, I'm partially bald. The front part's definitely bald at this point. I mean, you want to see it? I do shave it all off, but it's definitely thinned. And I would say through this area, I probably don't have any significant hair. Denzel, I actually personally hate Wonderwall. I have a deep-seated loathing of the song Wonderwall. All right. No, Mbuka, it hasn't. Thoughts on creatine? It's a scam if already consumed. I don't think it's a scam. It's been overstated that apparently it is weaker than we thought it was, but it's still slightly useful. You know, as long as it's cost effective for you, I don't see an issue. All right. Matt, you just now heard Firewoman? Bro, where have you been? So I'm going to read his post out. Just heard Firewoman by The Cult for the first time today. Way late to the party, but it's an absolute banger. Dude, that band rocks. Hosta, can you still claim natural on creatine? Yeah, man, I'm natural. I take creatine. All right. No, but I've been working too much to paint. I've got too many irons in the fire. I literally had not time to do any painting for the past 2 weeks. Okay, the story behind Wonderwall, the Oasis song. This is going to be total nerd territory. You guys ready? I was at a Dungeons and Dragons role-playing convention. And there was a guy there who was running games, and he kind of wanted to hang out with us and eventually come join our D&D group. And he brought an acoustic guitar. And he had a speech problem because he had, apparently, we found out later because we kind of became friends with him. But he had like a tumor in his nasal cavity, and he talked really nasally, and he couldn't sing. And he sat over at the corner of this convention playing and singing Wonderwall over and over for probably 2 hours, to the point where it drove me nuts. And I had to ask him to never, ever play Wonderwall around me ever again, or he couldn't be around us. It was not going to happen. I still have bad memories of it. So every time I hear the song, I hear him in the background. Wonderwall, and he's having to, because he couldn't breathe, and he sounded like a bulldog. And I'm not trying to. He got a surgery later to fix it, but so because of that, and this was, my God, 28 years ago. So because of that, I cannot stand the song because I hear him trying to sing it in the background. Remember, in a world where Greg Doucette says Turk builds more muscle than insulin, Jason is also natural. That is a fact. Wonderwall's too popular karaoke song. Yep. I do a mean karaoke, by the way. Okay. People who know me, have all heard me do some karaoke. The funniest one, my best bro bet me $50 that I wouldn't get up in a giant redneck bar and sing It's Raining Men in karaoke. Way back in the day where it was a different world. I did, and I got my $50. My favorites that I've done and really enjoyed are Creep by Radiohead, which I have karaoke'd at least 5 times. And I've also karaoke'd several times over the years Santeria by Sublime. Okay. All right. Denzel says, do you like the song Soul to Squeeze by Red Hot? I like the Chili Peppers. They're a good band. Sambu, it's not going to happen, dude. Sorry. Just give up on it, man. Dan says, if someone wants to be a strength athlete or just as strong as possible, how much heavy work should they do? About 5% of their training. Right? I know you do training maxes plus bodybuilding work, but wonder about, no, dude, 5 to 10% of your training. And then everything else can be hypertrophy. All right. And I'm not going to discuss candidate. Can you play Creep by Radiohead and sing it for us? I need to learn it on the guitar. I've only sang it. I had a friend who she used to love to do ukulele. Okay. This is around the time I started dating Brittany because it was from that same circle of friends that I got introduced to her from. So she used to love to do ukulele while we all sang. And so I used to do Creep all the time. So then I went and karaoke'd it with her and a bunch of other people. Oh, you remember Mark says, I remember you singing Boondocks, Homies Over Hoes. That's right. It's homies over hoes, homies over hoes. Do the home, hey, do the home, hey. Oh. All right. What's the rep range for hypertrophy? Between 1 and 30. All right. So I want me to sing it. I don't know if I can do Creep, but I haven't sang it in so long. And keep in mind, it's karaoke. It's not like I can really sing. Okay, and I need to be clear. Just because I can't sing doesn't mean I won't. Is there any way the Britney relationship could have been salvaged? No, not possible. All right. Can you think of what convinces you the most of God's existence? Okay. I'll answer that. Setting aside all possible theories of abiogenesis, have you ever looked at the way that DNA replicates? Have you sat back and looked at the transcriptions and translation process of how DNA copies itself before a cell splits? There is literally an enzyme in there that's a spell checker that only messes up like 1 in 10 million times. Watch the process, okay? We can argue about randomness all that we want. And I'm not saying that people say, well, how come God allows this or all that to happen? That's not what the argument is. The argument is, are you looking for evidence, the fingerprint of God? Are you looking for a fingerprint of a possible extreme superhuman intelligence that has put his finger down somewhere on this planet? And that's what I'm going with. Purely my opinion. It's not something I can prove. If you ask me for an opinion, again, look at the way when cells replicate, look at the DNA transcription and translation process. To me, I see the fingerprint of God there. Just my opinion. Not saying you have to believe it. But to me, that process, when I look at it, the idea that this process formed even through a billion random possibilities is not something that I can get behind even as a betting man. I just can't. You know? But yeah, I mean, I look at that process and it blows my mind. So, again, if you want to look for a fingerprint of God, right there. That's where I'm going to point. And like I said, you don't have to agree with me. That's okay. All right. So where are we? We're at 54 minutes. I think it's been a pretty good live. I'm going to go ahead and wind this down. All right, we're going to wind it down. So I hope it's been informative. I will talk to you guys and gals next time. I love all of you.